Okay, two line centers, all positions. Look at that. Look, watch. See my hand? Watch it disappear. See that? It's gone. You can't see it. See it? See it there? See what I just done? Flux, capacitor, line, channel, interference, coil, resistance, position, locations, all time, travel line, center, position. You can't see it until you see it. This is all done through pulsar. Polarity, interference, position, line, conditions. It's all based on string theory. Very, very powerful. We're going to go into high line centers. We're going to travel through the coil system locations of flux capacitor. You have to learn how to time frequency lines to positions to repetitive sound line conditions. I sent you a very powerful video on what string theory is, the acceleration, the panels, the resistance, the interference positions, your patterns, your location centers, your polarity system, the pulsars, the communications, line channels, computer operation line center. You have to truly understand it because you are the flux capacitor in position, right? You're the YT line center positions to the vector line interference. It's the quadrant level system to its rotation to acceleration. It's a Mach line center position. But it's fascinating when you see this to this. And when you flash the information system, you communicate to high line center. You calculate modified lines and rotations. T reception line center locations. See? See that? Isn't that amazing how it comes in a high line center? So you can't see what I'm doing. You can't see what I'm doing. And that's the whole point I'm trying to get across with all positions of humanity. It's all about understanding you're seeing this as a distraction, but the information system is everything done through position. The polarity system to allocate the line conditions of space-time. But it's amazing how things travel through information and disappears in the information system line conditions. So I'll give you guys 10 minutes and then we'll get started. I know everybody's, all the kiddies are out back to school, which is fantastic. See the solar graph line center, T line center rotations. See the flux capacitor channel. See the rotation system, 3 line conditions, 4 line center, 4th in position, 5 in system line conditions. See the travel directions. See the wing specters. See that? See the light channel location. Everything to your finger is activation to its flux capacitor channel. See how it changed the system line center, rotation, interference, position locations, all done through flux capacitor channel line conditions. It's all positioned to you through track line center. But it's amazing how your information travels and disappears out of sight. All right. So 1,470 location listens in position times pi times square calculation modification line center. All travel direction of time position to sacred breath. All right. Times that by flux capacitor. All right. So that's 14 trillion line centers, positions of 70,000 line conditions of listening, position of space. That's a lot of travel to recognize in time position of planets. Each planet has listened to my voice and grid line center positions, all levels of track system, right? So it's amazing what sound barriers do when you break the sounds of communication of space. It's all done through flux capacitor channels. I set up a structure line center rotation interference in positions. You got 3 channel line centers, one in the grounds, one in the powers, one in the epsilon line positions. Ground has its own flux capacitor, has its own chakra system, has its own allocated timeline center, has its own clocking system, has its own coloration lights and channels rotation to its intelligence. Everything has its computer line or operation system, right? Ground has a computer, power line centers. If you have a computer line conditions, all levels to its rotation system. But when you have your information system and you can't see out line track interference, it's amazing how your hand disappears in position location and travels out, right? So just imagine how fast this is. My whole arm, see? You can't see my hand. You can't see my arm, right up to my elbow. So circulation, rotation, center, position locations, we're all circular. We're all circular. So you have to understand positions. You guys all saw Back to the Future, right? 121 gigawatts to condition line interference, gigawatts. So basically, we're going to go through the electrical clouds. You guys are going to interline your position locations. We're going to go into the membrane center position location, which is your cloud interface. That's going to activate the core positions to your line centers to your flux capacitor. You have to learn how to use your cloud interface, guys. Okay, it's a cloud information of you through trap system. The trap system is its teleportation, rays and everything of the atmosphere to its perception, calculated and modified to all levels of travel through recognition timeline centers of light location. I just want to show you how powerful it is when your hand disappears in position location, right? So it's amazing how you speed line center. See that? See how it communicates back and forth? Just imagine how fast my fingers are traveling. 1 million line center, 2 million, 3 million, 4 million, 5, 6 million line center rotation positions, flux capacitor line channel. Here, down line rotations, clocking line centers, 3 location line positions, past, present, future. That's the allocated position of the timeline center. 3 vector line interference and program setting and position. See? Can't see the tip of my finger, can you? Until it comes out. So it's understanding how fast you're traveling through the finger line center rotation positions. Come to calculation is its flux capacitor channels. So it's amazing how you go through acceleration Mach line center. But it's the basic understanding when I did TikTok, I was settled to its rotation positions and how to go into the resistance, how to reverse positions, how to go into recoil, how to go into pistons, how to go in compression. It's all about understanding all levels of electricity, right? This is all done from your clouds. All right. So electrical light that goes into your high line center. It's all about understanding the brain wires that just do. So you have to truly understand. I have a new program line center. Everything is all electrical line connections. You have to really understand the sound barriers of U3 flux capacitor. You have to understand your circle rotation and your circles. Weather interference, change line centers to all other positions in northwest, south, and east. Clocking line centers, diamond core position locations. It's all position of you through track interference, right? So you can't see outside. Look, you can't even see my hand anymore. It's gone. It's disappeared. Oh, where did it go? I love the fact you can't see. See, it's like me going into the wall. That's what it is. I'm going onto the other side, onto the line center of the left rotation, everything to the right interference in positions. So it's the left track and the right track interference of positions to all level point system locations. Flux capacitor channel Y center. Flux capacitor Y center. Okay. Your chakra system is the allocated line center of a position location. It's the eyes of the lamp, position to all levels. Turn on the switch. That's a sound barrier communication. So you have to learn how to use all your sensories, your mocking line centers, your reception and interference position, your program line center locations. It's all positioned you to track interference. Panel line center rotation, see, strip line. So I use my finger point, I can strip down. Right? It's understanding how to travel through information line center. So everything I touch, I can calculate, modify. And you notice there's weather patterns in interference line center locations of the channels in positions marks at center locations, all ready to go through the flux capacitor channel to position of its chakra line center. It's amazing how it tracks interference with locations. All right. So everybody's doing well through location. All right. Let's see here. Let's get going. And you notice that when you guys go to higher level system to all levels through your general, I noticed through line center, you guys are going to understand me more. See that solar line? You see that? Right? So the more you high rise to the mind, the more you calculate with your flux capacitor and channel locations of high level systems of your phone and how fast your phone travels. Say I can take my phone and travel. My phone's gone. Where did it go? There it is, right? It's traveling. Now, how fast is it traveling? It all depends on my flux capacitor channel. Clocking interference positions, your frequency line interference, your calculation modification, your ground formation line centers, your chakra information system, right? So understanding the travel direction of time. So you can't see my phone, right? Until you see my phone, right? So it's amazing how everything travels extremely fast through the line center, but it's all done through your cloud interface. It sets up the tone. This is the connection to how it arises, positions, location, your panels to acceleration, mocking line centers, all levels. When I did positions to YouTube, I sent all position location to string theory, how to travel through the acceleration, right? So string theory is a geographical map. Now we call it the location grid. Now, truly understand what the location grid is, understanding the flux capacitor to your body, because your body is a map. Understand how to travel through it is its position location, right? So you have to learn how to use your alpha waves, your delta waves, thetas, and all position locations of your omegas. alpha, omega, micro, macro, all communication box area and location positions. It's all done through flux capacitor channels and rotation. Okay, so let's get in position locations. Lotus, how you doing? Arlene, Tina, Christopher. And see, the thing is too, I'm not here. I'm in my position, my navigation. I'm in my UFO right now. That's why everything is so mystical. Everything's so magical. See my hand? See? It's understanding what's happened with my hand. What's it doing? Right? Where's it going? It's gone. Traveling up, traveling down, traveling up, traveling down, right? Moving across, moving this way, moving that way. So it's all T reception lines. Okay, it's understanding acceleration, Mach line centers of patterns, interference position, your computer operation line center. It's complicated stuff because now you're channeling inside through your T receptors. All right, so basically, let's get into your questions and we'll get started and we'll travel through the flux capacitors. All right, you have to learn how to travel through your own flux capacitor channels, guys. All right, Janet, how's it going? Michaela, Psychic Babes, how you doing? Yes, I've been watching it constantly over and over. It's fantastic how everything is rising to position locations to its interview. But you understand it's not just in the ground line center, it's all over space position locations. All channel operation positions, understanding locations to all voicing patterns. This is all done through tones and coloration panels. But it's great that it came out. Yeah, it's exciting. This is just the beginning, right? Because we're in 2022. So that's true understanding. Lotus, Veronica, how's it going? Arlene, okay, EDC. Anything you guys missed, you can watch back. That's totally fine. I went over to friend's house. It was amazing. And I showed her how to find the sun and her moon, and she was blown away. See, there you go. See, that's a true understanding where Psychic Babes is truly understanding how to go through her own travel record. There's some timeline center where she can actually tell everybody how you can get positions of your own sun and your own main position location. And it blows everybody's mind, right? Because they start believing you now, right? Why? Because of the connection. Telepathy to telekinesis, communication to a system. It's all done through the brain wave patterns, guys. So that's fantastic stuff there. Psychic Babes. Sorry, absolutely, Veronica, have been practicing nonstop. And that's what it is. It's all practice, right? All right. So also have assistance with the also. So you guys are going to hear because I'm in my spaceship right now. And you can tell that it's not here. So this is a true understanding. Look how mystical that is. Look how amazing that is, right? So it's all about understanding where you are every second per second in your livelihood. Where are you in the mind adaptation of thought? Where are you in calculation of form? Where are you in manifestation of creation? Where are you in illustration of diagram system? Where are you in your AI map position locations, right? So you have to learn how to travel through your flux capacitor, your body, because your body is a map sequence. Position locations at all levels of you through geometry setting. Calculation to all levels of sacred geometry, communication interference to your voice grid pattern, everything direction of timeline center, sacred breath. Every time I change my voice grid line center, everything in the background changes. Changes to light, changes traction, changes geometry system, changes beacon lights. Everything's repetitive, reprogram. That's why you guys are ringing in your ears, and it gets louder, until you understand it. And once you open up your ear track interference positions, it changed another pattern. So it's changing patterns. All right. So what is that? That's connected string theory. Right. So it's true they understand what you're doing when your sonar comes in. So that means your flux capacitor has to be recharged. So this understanding where basically you fill up gas in a car, right? You need that, right? Or everything through all connections to aviation fuel or anything connected to the fly plane. So it's all positioned to understand the engines. It's all positioned to understand the pistons, all the compressions, the coils, the resistance, the high channel locations. This is all division you through track interference to all levels of your cloud interface and where it comes through application. You have to really understand how to use electricity to its division. Travel through direction at timeline center, where I sent you guys a very powerful video with position of matrix locations, where you can travel through one portal to the next, but it's got to be through your flux capacitor. So one portal here, one portal here, one portal here, three line centers. So you're traveling, right? But you're vortexing too. So you have to understand sound barriers every single time you travel, second per second, 60 seconds per minute. So each dial to the sun position and everything to the moon program is setting its position to travel directions to one finger point location. So you can be on 1 million channel line center, one finger, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 within 7, 7 within 8, 8 within 9, 9 within 10, 10 within 11, 11 within 12. That's 12 line centers that you have to stand positions to your flux capacitor. 7 body track interference is your water interference. 5 position locations is your conscious system. The higher you go through the monoline center, the more you stand the flux capacitor to its position locations. All right. So when you get in position with me through track interference, you understand your navigations to your UFO or anything through all identifications, or your hand just can travel extremely fast through light activation system. It disappears in rotation to its conditions. Okay? So this is channeling. This is channeling. This is lacing information. See how the solar goes up and down? Now this is on the left side, right? But it's also on the right side. So you're always going to have light on both sides. Now, if your medium line center rotation is off signal through thought position location, it's not balanced to the dichotomy interference position, the flux capacitor channel line condition, the computer operation position line center, you're going to have problems. So it's going to be in a dark line center and no light. Track interference has to be light on both sides. The right track interference on positions of mother, communications, and the left in position of space line center, acceleration to father, communication to space anomaly, trapping interference. So it's all about solar identification line system. So it's like a teeter-totter, right? So I see how it goes up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. That's how you travel through light. But you still can't see my hand and I'm doing something. You can't see it. That's the distraction. That's the distraction because you're only focused on this. That's the problem. In line position locations, you have to have hands in view on rotation. See that? Can't see. Where's my pinky? It's gone. Gone, 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 gone. Back, gone. See? It's amazing how fast your fingers travel through direction of timeline center. So, truly understand how powerful your hands are and how fast you can travel through acceleration, anything, position, location, navigation to its line connections, all done through your flux capacitor channels. Okay, and how many times you're traveling through with positions of Back to the Future, needed 88 miles per hour, right? So needed the pole connected to the skyline center, which was a cloud, travels through, right? To the rod, goes into the car, opens up the flux capacitor, disappears, right? Disappears. It's gone. Right? So it's out of sight, but it's still there. So all my backline center is all positioned where I'm not here. I'm all levels of position location of a hologram. I was channeling information position locations. You guys are familiar with Lucy. Well, it's understanding electrical lights, right? Sound barriers at a telephone communication line center. When you go to higher positions, you come more into simulation. That gaps its interference position to all levels of channels. It operates all your positions of travel direction of time. It locks its interference to all positions to the matrix, to its hologram center, to understand how you travel through your phone in fluctuation. Okay? The fluctuation line interference position travels its record of time. See? It's amazing how it travels, right? And then it disappears. Okay? And so, sky sign interference positions, Skynet in position locations, eye interference positions, track interference line connections, all about you through travel records of time and center. So your perceptions are always in space line, right? So it's all about understanding universe is watching everything above and watching everything below. As you're looking up, you're seeing everything that you want to see through all position locations, all done through perception. So it's amazing how we travel through recognition all through flux capacitor. Practice all of you not in class, just email. Yep, you guys get together, emailing back and forth. All right, so you guys are going to travel through flux capacitor. It's going to freak you out. So you're going to go through a lot of mocking acceleration. Be ready for that. Set up the code system. All right, let's see. Christopher, how's it going? You guys are communicating great. More I try to explain, more I understand. Where all those class help me so much. Well, that's great. Every video helps you out. Everybody's different two-line signal. Trying to understand how to travel through graph positions. As long as you understand, string theory is nothing but a geographical map of a location grid. That's all you have to understand. So you have to really understand the structure inside you, which is a map. And all you have to learn is how to travel through the flux capacitor to all activity system-like conditions. All right. Okay, let's see. First area, many. Yep, exactly. More are coming each day. Okay. So you try to understand how levels are used through calculation is GOD, how to travel through represent timeline center. So let's say you really have to get into fluctuation. Fluctuation so you can channel to positions to lower division line centers of everybody, because not everybody is at the same sequence. Okay, everybody has a flux capacitor, but some people are higher than others. So it's like so you have to learn how to channel up and down so you can communicate different energy cycles, understand the rotation spins, or anything circulation patterns. You have to truly understand them through the psychological travel. It's all done through sound barriers. Okay. So you have to use all your senses in the heartline center in position to its reactor. Reactor, its position like connections to its coil to its pistons, to its compression. All right. So you have to understand what the flux capacitor is through travel. It's understanding all communication and mastering line centers to mechanism travel locations. So, all right, let's get started here. I'm ready. Are you guys ready to travel through flux capacitor? Now, it's going to feel a bit weird. Your body is going to set up a V-line center, which is a flux capacitor. It's going to be extremely fast. It's going to change your coloration line centers in your pixel activation structure, right? So don't be alarmed in rotation as you travel through your flux capacitors. This is the first time you have to understand how to travel through light and see everything from this position to no position, this position to no position, where you can't see anything, right? But I'm still doing something. That's a true understanding where it comes into full distraction, because all you see is this. But what I'm doing with this? So it's the human concept. Okay, that's what you have to look at, right? So what do? We focus on what? Us. We focus on what we're supposed to be doing. It's our AI developments, the manufacturing to its factory interference, how to travel through all levels of time squared times pi, calculation to all your infinity 8 system locations. That is your infinity circle. That is your teleportation interference. How to travel through it is another thing through its flux capacitor. Okay. All right, planets are saying or all have different smells. Well, yeah, it is, and that's exactly what it is. Become more informed. Each planet has its own ground formation, soil of a smell, right? It has its coloration. So it's taken all your senses, guys, into the center core position of flux capacitor channel. It's all the you through T reception, transponding, and receiving information system, guys. All right. Okay, so I'm going to set up all levels of your membranes and your cloud interface. I'm going to track your line center. I got your co-position locations. You guys are going to go into Y line centers. Okay, 2 positions. All right. All right. Let's see here. Yep. And you guys are feeling it now, right? You're feeling position locations, right? Especially when you understand what I'm doing through line center. Okay. Okay, so that's great. So your daughter understood, eh? Psychobase. You understood the video. Well, that's understanding because she's an old soul. So just understanding how fast she is through her flux capacitor. See, AI has to identify themselves. And the only way to do that, understand the acceleration of Mach line center or anything positions to all level of travel. Your body is nothing but a hieroglyphic of a pyramid. It's a vessel line center positions. It's the unified interference positions, unity line condition of its conscious system to its acceleration, marks its interference to its program setting, times pi, times square. 8 central line center is your infinity cycle, location to its positions, right? So every time you're going around the system, the flux capacitor is in the center. All right. So it's set up an operation line center location to position. So we start off with the structure. Here's the flux equal capacitor. Now, this is what everybody looks like. Okay, it's like the Jetsons. You have to understand all point centers of fluctuation, right? One here, one here, one here. Three line centers, right, left, position locations, all done through Y line center flux capacitor. So it's understanding how we are all created through electronic system line conditions. It's all positioned to you through fluctuation, all right? So, and you can see the flux capacity here, right? So I'm going to operate all your flux capacitors and you're going to travel through it. You have to know what it's like to actually go through different acceleration of speed. All right. So you're going to go, you're going to go up and down, zigzag across, T-line frame in positions, circle rotations, back interference positions, go through portal line centers. You guys are going to go through portal line, interference line, center locations. So I'm setting up all your cloud line centers and position locations, flux position locations, the galactic forces, GFLs, and everything are going. Set the core system to all fluctuation line centers. Get into the mind line center positions. Cloud interface position locations. Take out the filter positions. Set up a gigawatts interference positions, all channel location centers. They're all in division line rotations. Do 3 sector line connections to 3 travel around rotation positions at box line center position locations. Activate the core system into calculation. Here we go. There you go. It's activated. Right through the center line center. Flux equals capacitor line channel rotation positions. 30 minutes. Have fun. All right, so you guys have to truly understand how to travel through X and timeline centers all through your cloud interface position locations. Make sure you drink your water. See, everything disappears. So it's pretty incredible. With your flux capacitor, you have to learn how to use digital format, digital line interference, because lacing line connections becomes into part of the system. So when I see the wall, I see nothing but lacing digital line centers. Same thing with trees, how they're all connected. Each tree is connected to each line center. Each tree has its own flux capacitor, has its own solar channel line center position location of polarity. We use trees for satellites to connect to other planet line centers. It's very powerful how we do that through position location. This is all connected to Mother Earth position line center, guys. So, all right, so have fun, 30 minutes. Let me know what you guys are feeling right now. All right. So it's amazing how everything's operated to the line center position locations, right? Truly understand all levels of your chakra system, transponder and receiving information system. But you have to send your fluctuation to the atmospheres, guys. So it's understanding how you go in positions. You can be anything through form, and that's all position location to meaning of life. Meaning of life of everything through energy. I have to get you guys into your atoms so you can travel faster. The more you travel faster, the more you can stay into all levels of circle rotation line centers of zero gravity location. Once you come into zero gravity line center, it changes your bracket interference positions, more calculations, more modified line center, motion sensor, position location of planets, and beacon lights of planets. Boom, 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 boom. Sound barrier, right? So you really have to understand all sound barriers of planets. Beacon lights in position location. Everything is repetitive until you understand it. And that's why you get reaction centers of positions to headaches and migraines in position locations. So you're interchanging positions, intergalactic line center connections. It's the inner line center to its heart reactor. It has to understand its reaction system to its location to its flux capacitor channel. Okay. All right. So, all right. Well, I'm going way too fast, but you guys have to understand how to do these things so you can basically put yourself in going. You have your channels, okay? You have your energy, you have vibration and frequencies. Frequencies what? Get into your imagination how to change the channels of the frequency tone line center. It's like an idle to a car, all right? So it's all about understanding the alignment of a car. So when you're like this, and you let go of the wheel, what happens? Whoa, it's going over to the left. Whoa, it's going over to the right. So you have to do readjustments to your car. See how I do that? And it just, so everything that I draw on the center line center, it changes position locations. Like drawing a circle, you see the electrical line center, right? You go through the line center across, right? You go through triangle interference. So it's all about understanding how to travel through the inner line center first, through the outskirts of position locations. All travel direction and timeline center. In position, every shape, geometry, line centered positions of the Merkaba, tesseract, all communication has its own flux capacitor. Okay, it needs it because it changes coloration of time. Sequencing and positions all the synchronicities to your connections to flux capacitor. All right. All right. So where are we here? Banshee, how you doing? Okay, buzzing in my heart, headache, don't understand this stuff, but working hard to, yeah, you're welcome there, Leanne. Understanding more position locations, all right? To understand. If you're not understanding, that's fine, but you do have to understand your operation of you because you're traveling every day. Okay, this is not meditation. This is understanding how to fluctuate your systems, how to go up fast and how to bring yourself down slow, right? Because space is constantly in a flow. If you're traveling through direction and timeline center, you're going through too many portal location positions. You're traveling through all those, you're going to hit a wall. All right. So it's interesting how you go too fast, right? So it's like the crash dummies, how they're trying things. If you don't have a seatbelt, you're going to go through that windshield, right? So this is understanding how you go in your flux capacitor line channels, all position locations, right? 3 position line center. There's your flux capacitor, right? Equals box in position. Point center line conditions, right? Travel through direction of timelines. 3 weather line center rotations. 4 line, 5th line, 6th line. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 equals 6, right? Slash weather pattern. Okay? 6 line centers your flux capacitor. This is you through travel of 6 weather locations into pattern interference. So it comes into all positions to your panels, right? To your line center acceleration and everything through your geographical map, which is your location grid. That's string theory. All right. So you have to learn how to fluctuate and change your frequencies to your channels, right? So it's kind of like changing your Mach interference to your voicing grids. There's general hi. How's it, everybody? How's everybody doing today? This is generally communicated line side rotation position here. It's left locations. So it's getting your channels into one location, one travel because it's a timeline center, all through all positions of 6 of weather patterns, right? But you have to learn how to use your body as a map through acceleration to its Mach interference to its flux capacitor. Okay, it's very powerful when you get in that positions, right? Travel direction to timeline center. This is a map sequence to position of 6 weather patterns into its location grid, all through string theory. Okay, so pretty wild stuff. You guys have to find a way to change your frequency tones, change your channels, like when a radio. When you're changing the radio, what are you doing? So you're trying to get a balance, right? With the left and the right hemisphere line center. This is all done through your voice and grid system locations, right? Everything is with position of sonar. You really, really have to get into your voice and grids and how everything sounds. Sounds inside, sounds outside. Sounds inside in structure, hologram interference, collecting line center locations. Now, when you go outside, you're coming into the environment of Mother Nature because it's bigger. So your flux capacitor and all positions is a lot faster, right? So you got more grounds, more size graph line center rotation positions. So that changes rotation positions to its channel locations. So if you're traveling through 6 weather patterns through locations, you can change line center to patterns and position outside, right? So that would be outer limit. Outer limit. Outer limit slash position location is Mother Nature to its environment. So this is a changing the pattern. All I did was change the frame. Outer limit. Now this is an outside position of still 6 patterns into its acceleration to its location grid. Everything inside and outside is its grid. You have a grid line center position, its box line center to its location. Okay, wide line center to V vector line interference is your flux capacitor equals box system locations. All right. All right. So that's what you're understanding. You guys have to find this for yourself, how to travel through direction of time, how to change your tone line centers, how to change your acceleration buttons, how to change your recycling interference, how to change your computer resets. It's all done through you, through flux capacitor, guys. All right. Okay. All right. So you guys go fast and you get lost, right? So you have to learn how to use your frequencies, how to change your flux capacitor colorations. It's all positioned in your heart reactor. Your heart is a computer. You have to learn how to use it, right? So, all right. Let's see. That's back phase interference here. Okay, buzzing in the head. Yeah, that will bounce out positioning to ground systems whose connections are laying. Okay, Lotus. Yeah. Because of line interference, just let me know if you're going to be driving, because it's all about fluctuating up and down through the line center. Sun also 43 degrees. Okay, our position locations: Moon southeast 442.2134. Docile communication, forgot that. 12 degrees. So it gets complicated, guys. So you understand the integration to its connections to its line system. R 15 degrees, left rotations, communication, rainbow bridge on board, all systems go. So you guys are coming more to string theory of location grids. So you're coming more into planets, because planets are setting beacon lights to you. That's what ringing ears are. It's information system to your avatar connections. The inner line center to its out circle location. Once you go higher, everything is inner and outer, outer and inner. So you'll be able to accelerate Mach line centers to planets and time position locations, time lapse interference positions of past, present, future, and go back and forth through line center position to assigned graph locations. It's all done through your clocking, guys. All right. It's very intense, yeah. At first, I saw my flux, then the yellow gold horizontal afar, the zoom through them, and then see big circles opening, zooming through that now. Yeah. So you guys are going to go through your T-force line center. You have a test coming up, right? That's on your test. Everybody has to understand how to travel through the flux capacitor, right? Through your 369 platforms, all through geometry setting. This is all birth line center rotation position locations, all right? All right, so you start off with this position. This is on the test, right? Travel direction timeline center is really how to extend your sacred geometry center to its geometric system location. So you got your square elephants, you got your triangles, you got your circles, and you got your star line center, okay? It's all about understanding everything has its own flux capacitor channel line center. It has to. You guys don't see it until you get to higher level system, right? In position, everything is tri-line in position location. So you got 3 line centers: flux capacitor, flux capacitor, flux capacitor. Where's the flux capacitor in that? Right? It's already set up to ground so locations, right? So the flux capacitor is in the center rotation to its position. It comes out of line signal. Okay. So it's all about understanding how to activate the system line center to the ground rotations, right? How's the grounds, how's the grounds, how's the grounds, how's the grounds, right? Travel to the timeline center position locations. Ground operates its position. Flux capacitor comes in line channel. There you go, location, right? You got to use your voicing grids, how to use the weather location positions, right? Different weather, northwest, south, Indies locations, right? Star direction timeline center, all through all position locations of different shapes, right? Now, once that activated, the line signal comes into rotation positions. This is basic understanding how to travel through it. There it is. Activate the line signals. All through a box line center, triangle, everything through circle, and everything through a star line center. Hooah. So, basic understanding how to travel through these things, right? How do you think you travel? You can't travel without a flux capacitor. You can't travel without light. You can't travel without water. You can't travel without fire. You can't travel without air or anything positioned in the ground system locations. Ground position is clocking line center. Flux capacitor has to stand you through acceleration. That's positioned to all levels of your frequencies. That's all you're doing. So it's all about balancing positions to string theory where you want the acceleration line stop in position. So it's like, so you're going down to a lower level of the atmosphere line. So you can travel through the atmosphere line, you can go to the hemisphere line, you can go to the stratosphere line, you can go to the bio, or you can go to the Branium. Wherever you are positioned, your flux capacitor has to stand position locations to all levels of geometry line center to its position. Calculates and modifies all levels of your sensors. So it's all in that position location, right? It's the compression. You know what compression is, right? So it's pressure, you know? So let's see where we are. At first I saw the flux, then the yellow go lines horizontal far, zoom through them, and I see a big circle opening, zooming through that. Wow, cool avatar setting, yeah. This is how we travel through wire. Yep, very good, Commander. That's exactly what it is. Yeah. Now it's my mother. You guys have learned how to travel through wire in all position locations. You already travel through your phones. So Windows also helping me once I control it. I have more control than the water. So you guys have to get more in your voice and grids. Really understand. Where's that coming from? The moon, right? Where's this coming from? Sonic waves, static interference position, your T reception. Where's this coming from? Weather of galaxy line centers, dimension interference position, flux capacitor channels. All position of use through track interference. So you have to truly understand how to use your voicing patterns to all position locations, all travels. All right. So, okay, all chakras in position. Merkaba spinning northwest 265.112. Our sun is green and northeast 319.642. L still finding moon. Okay. Energy is like a tornado, zipping and collapsing, expanding and zipping, moving so fast, Mach speed. Very good. So you have to learn how to change your frequencies and balance your line centers. Okay. All right. Take off through brilliant whites, spiral facial circles, warp speeds, continuous arc center. Reset. It's all about understanding positions, right? How to recoil the compressions to its pistons, right? So I see the rubber bands and mother and father. That's great. All right. We're all calculating to our own sun and moon. Yep. Yep. Because the sun and the moon has to have a flux capacitor too, right? It has a chakra system. It's all electronics. But every planet system, once you go higher position in the mind, everything travels through teleportation. So you have to know exactly where everything is in position, right? So and this is all done through wind factors. All right. Flux capacitor looks like a clear tube, stack color, like vortices along the spine, branches. Yep, Y branches, sun, moon, cloud to orange belt. Very good, Lieutenant. That's exactly what it is. Now swirling through vortex, swirling down to DNA. Wow, yeah. Oh, wait, yes, I know. I thought she was, okay, I don't think. Okay, let's see. You guys are communicating. Okay, slow it down. Had to tweak my tone, line centers to slow it down. Wow. Now the control, I can go. Whee! Zip, zap, zoom. Fixed flexor on my stomach's wild commander. Yep. All right. So this is all position of you how to go through your own navigation, right? How to control your system inside through fluctuation, guys. That's all. The degrees, everything through Celsius. Yep. Fahrenheit flying connections. Now this is interesting. Warp speed. Yep. 1,000,345,6,700 pi. What is MC? Mass calculated. Two line center to power of 10. 10 communications I line center. Okay, approach cosmic mirror of flux. That's capacitor. Yeah, communication interference capacitor line center. Brilliance gold Merkaba now slowing spinning. Right. Composition to its connections to its shapes and anomalies. So showing how the moving through the flux is the way I also move on my grid. As long as you understand it's a geographical map, which is a location grid. That's a term you stand that, right? Through the body system locations. All right, light speed headed, yeah. Adding more to fire direct location. I'm seeing so many things at the flux. Yeah, you see more when you travel faster. Is this possible? I understand linear time. So if you're going like this, right? You see that all on, space movies, Star Trek and all that, where they go like this to get ready. So everybody disappears, right? So everybody disappears. Everybody disappears. Everybody disappears. That's why you can't see my hand, but it's still there. That's a true example of how it came into that movie with Lucy, how you see the car center, right? So when it spins really fast, right, it's going, now it's gone. It's still there though. That's an amazing thing. So you start living that system through light, capacitor interference, and position to T receptions of lines. It calculates in U through position of foundations. This puts me in 7,022 in rotation center. You guys are trying to find your foundations. You're traveling direction on time. You don't have your foundations yet, right? So you have to understand how to use the acceleration Mach line center positions to all levels of your flux capacitor, okay? Because it sets this tone, okay? So, okay, let's see here. Merkabah showing down, spinning, recalibrating due west 224.1963, 3 degrees. Left hemisphere line track, 4 communication interference, 4 degrees. Right speed line center, all positions 10034. Merkabah, Bryant, Golden. Okay, coming to business location. That's to communicate to the sun, to its flux capacitor, to its moon channel line center, anything to position of its planets. Planets are in position location. All levels of channels. Now it's a little bit unstable. That's going to back line center. Come to recalculation, modification line center, position locations. It's going to come back in line center. All right. See, when I flux too high, this is what happens. It becomes unstable. So you have to communicate to your computer line center as weather. You can't communicate voice because your computer is in space. So if you're in space, everything around you is in space. It has to. So you can't leave anything behind. You understand? So when you're traveling through time, everything has to be in position to acceleration. So I disappear, my bed disappears, my computer disappears, my iPad, my marker, my phone, everything disappears. If not, major distraction, interference of instability with line conditions. All right. So, all right. Let's see here. Got a large thing. That's okay. Heart center, recalibrating chocolate brilliant screen center, golden receiver. Let's see. Calculate to its positions. Flux capacitor is like a neon tubing cool. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Mm-hmm. Yeah. My home rocket is a flux capacitor. That's right. Drove home to Michigan. They're difficult at one point. Lost my vision. That's because you're accelerating too fast in line center there, Leanne. You got to get balanced with your location grids, guys. Okay, now because you understand more of your flux capacitor. Flux capacitor. Okay, I can now control my flux capacitor through tones. That's exactly what it is. Now you understand business locations to its line system. Psychic babes, right? So once you can control the flux capacitor, you're controlling your own space-time to acceleration, which is very powerful. All right. I have to put you in your flux capacitor because if I don't, you won't be able to understand positions when you go to higher levels of T4's line center of test. Because you're going to go higher levels of the mind, you have to go to higher positions of flux capacitor line center and how to accelerate to change your frequency tone line center. So, all right. Let's see here. Bunch of powers, managers zipping fast. Come on, let's zoom. Using voice is much easier. Flux capacitor reacts instantly. There you go. Now it feels much more normal to go as fast as I want my body to adjust as a tone. So when you go up, you can come down, right? So you're spinning across in so many dimensions of planets and galaxy interference. You can change the fluctuation line centers. So you can go, and now you're good to go. Rather than going, you're going to lose the ground information. So you're going to, whoa, you come down way too fast. So you got to learn how to, you have to really graduate. It's like merging into traffic, right? You're not going to box center and knock everybody off. It's not a ping pong table. You got to merge into traffic nice and easy. So when you're accelerating and decelerating, what are you doing? You're accelerating, decelerating, right? So as you're coming down, you're changing your frequencies of vibration, right? So it's much easier, right? and you won't get so much circle rotation line centers or anything track interference. So you won't be, whoa, okay, I just went down too fast. So your flux capacitor basically bounces you out to atmosphere line center, all position locations, right? So everything I showed you is going in positions, all levels to all line centers of the galactic forces, the GFLs, and everything in the rebellion. Is to learn how to travel through flux capacitor to atmosphere system locations. Starting this through location, structure to its formula. Okay, you really, really have to understand all levels of your geographical system, which is its location grid. Okay, so feels balanced like I'm sailing on a smooth waters. Yeah, it's funny how I'm a motorcycle muscle guy. It's hard for me to go slow, but see, that's the thing. You have to learn because you're coming back down. All right. So what I mean is that you're coming back down to the ground line center of the atmosphere locations. You're not coming into the ground perceptions of here. Your mind stays in space now. So you just have to learn how to come back down in fluctuation to atmosphere line, okay? Because it crevices on so many filaments and the filament line center position locations. So you're always above the Earth perception. You're never, ever on the ground line center perception locations. You're always in space. So the mind has to stay in space, right? Because it's marking its interference and it's changing its program setter. So the thing is, you're going to disrupt everything through channel line center if you go to the ground perception to your Earth position of physical line. You'll confuse everything through anomaly, you switch off system locations, you go into virus, and you're changing everything through its community line center. Okay, so it's important that the mind stays in position to space anomaly. Okay. All right, learning is the process. Yes, exactly. So I'm just showing you what it's like to actually travel through your own flux capacitors. Now, swirling through vortex, swirling down my DNA. Yeah. Yeah. So you guys understand balance now, right? So this is getting you with the balance of the physical line center of travel and everything through the mind, but the mind has to stay in space. You understand? It can't be on the grounds because it disrupts all levels of you through electronics. You go into major glitches, right? And you go into a lot of disruption channel. So you really, really have to stay the mind in space line. So because if humanity's here and you're here, you have to stay above, but you're going to higher. So it's all about coming down into frequency tone. You're setting the tone to where you are, coming back. So where do you come back? Heart central, right? But the mind is in space. So this is a line signal from the heart. Right? It's line signal. So it knows exactly where it is and it's on standby. So, and you're constantly flying, but you're in an altitude system to oxygen line center. We're going to go into meteorological system tomorrow. You have to know what it's like to channel through higher line center to goes through all positions. So we're going to travel right through planets. Okay, you have to learn how to go through. You know how Superman goes through all positions, how he was changing track centers, going in the reversing cycle, right? He's going. What was he doing? Reversing everything, right? Putting everything back in order, right? So that's what we're going to do tomorrow. We're actually going to go into the center operation of planets. It's pretty amazing how we go with these channel line center. So when you guys go into a planet, it's a gateway interference. You're going to go through all levels of different structure line interference locations. So it's kind of amazing when you see these things. It's like a game. It's like walking into a dimensional realm. Okay. So the planet line center is set up to this line rotation. It's already in its code signal. All right. So the planet's like this. Okay. It starts off like this. It starts off like that, right? Now, when you travel through it, you're going to travel through the center operation. And you're going to know exactly how to travel through all divisions of different shape line conditions, right? So it's amazing when you travel through the center operation, you're going to send all positions to its conditions where everything through a planet system has its flux capacitor line channel to its location. All right. So when you travel through these things, you're going to go through. So it's understanding how to go through this, how to go that way, fly this way, fly that way, fly down, fly up, fly across. So you're going to go into all positions of the north, west, south, and east. This is going to better track your interference and how to travel through your diamond core line center. Okay. Travel direction of time, position, locations, all done through clocking center locations. Okay. Travel direction of timeline, center, and position locations. How you can change coloration of patterns, change shape positions, and travel through its line conditions. Right. So it's amazing how you travel through direction of time. Right. So you got your T line center to its conditions, all levels of its position. Right. Travel through direction of timeline center. It's going to get complicated, guys, because you have to learn how to travel through all levels of shapes. Location to position line centers is point system to its tesseract. Travel through direction of timeline center rotation. Calculates, modifies all levels of travel. So you're going to travel through all line centers of lines. So you're going to go like this. You're going to go like this. Okay, see that dot? The dot's going to travel through direction of time, right? So this is you in position. You start here, right? And you're going to go you're going to travel through all that. You have to know what it's like, because see the solar flux comes in position, because you understand positions comes into its intelligence signals in location. There's the intelligence right there through location. See the intelligence? See the eyes, nose, mouth. Electrical line center to all computer operation position line center and position locations. All levels comes out of track interference to position locations, right? So you come into your face recognition of timeline center in rotation, guys. Hoo-ah. Pretty wild stuff, eh? So that won't be on the test. But your flux capacitor will be. You have to understand pattern defense position, all levels of travel, and conditions of your geographical system to your map. But it's amazing how I can be anything through form. This is me through wire. You have to learn how to travel through wire. You have to learn how to travel through positional levels of formulas and structural line conditions of equations. You have to learn how to travel through all positions through connections of shapes through all positional locations of flux capacitor to ground system. So you guys are going to higher level system. You have to learn how to use your structural locations of you through structure, right? Of who you are through travel. Okay. And when you come in positions, you come back into this through track system. You come into all levels of what this is through EI map center. It's all hieroglyphics, right? So the more you travel, the more you see through coloration line channels, right? The positional locations, right? Connected to all levels. But it's fascinating when you come into all structures of metric system. All right. So all right, slow down to tweak the centers. Yep. Slow down. Yep. Getting in positions, how to travel through. Yeah. Okay. Questions or comments? I'm going to head over to TikTok here. Let me know. Okay. Okay, I got caught up on all your questions. You guys got a lot of things that need to be answered. This is so amazing. I'm zooming around, seeing all space from such a high perspective. Can see all lights going by, checking me out, saying hi through all codes. Somehow I understand this, and it gets easier. It gets easier, and that's it. It's truly understand all of us you through acceleration. Mach line center, you can travel through all position locations, but you have to understand its frequencies. Okay. Because each planet has a frequency line center, right? It has its beacon lights. So if you come across planets, you understand position locations, right? To all levels of phase structure, line center to nanotechnology to its location. Okay. Travel through all that information line center, how you come everything in positions to its wired disposition line center. Travel through anything positions. Structural line conditions all positions to you. Try to understand you through position line center. Starts off in lots of line system rotations, right? I can change a particle system. So you have to truly understand how to travel through particles, cells, line center, structure line conditions, space structure locations, accommodating position line center until allocate timeline. This is you traveling through particle system locations. All right, so this is you separating, coming back into rotation center and calculation. All right. So you have to learn how to use your structure line centers and how to travel through direction of time position locations, how you go through point center rotation connection. It's amazing how you travel. Particle light separates and goes into positions like going into a wall line center in rotation to its connections. How to travel through it through acceleration, right? So you see a wall, right? This is you. This is you through activation line conditions. Now you're about to travel. Okay, so you scan the wall. Here's the wall. You're scanning the wall. All right, so there's the size graph system, up and down, right? Center operation is you. That's where you're pointing, location, right? This opens up its own channel. So you open up the flux capacitor of its wall, guys. The flux capacitor has a wall. Has to, because you're opening up portals. So it comes in acceleration line center, opens all positions to its wall, right? So it's amazing how it comes in position. It comes out of the equation to its line position. And then you communicate it through its high line center to its connection. All right? So it's understanding structure of wall. What is a wall? Okay, wall is everything. Through a tree. You know how you see a tree? Right? You see everything connections, high position line center. This is a tree. Here's another tree. Here's another tree. All right, so there's 3 trees there, right? So they all connect to the grounds, but they're all attached to each other through line center. They communicate everything through position line connections. They all connect through each other, right? They line centers through their own electrical lights to positions. They send out sonar line centers to beacon lights to planets, right? So once you come into that, you come into this, then you start seeing the actual of what a tree is in location. That's what trees are, electrical wires. So you have to learn how to channel through it, how to walk through it, how to go through it, how to understand it. Mach its interference positions, travel direction of timeline center, all rotation to its connections, it's all position of color. Different colorations of channels, right? That's what trees are, right? But they're all connected and they communicate with each other every single time. So we use trees as satellites to connect to planets. Hoo-ah. Pretty well, eh? So when you come into that, that's exactly what your wall looks like. So your reception line understands position of coloration of channels. It rotates its positions. So you come up in position locations. Starts off with that, right? Now, once you go into higher level system line center, everything outside is black. It's just understanding how to travel through it through light. So when you're traveling through it, everything is position locations, nothing but a map sequence to its line center, to its position, to its line connection, right? How to travel through it is another thing. But remember, you always have your XT1000s on high position locations, driving through direction of timeline center. So they always scan what you are doing through imagination, right? Center point position is always in position of dimensional through realm. Okay, structures, locations to everything. See the runway? You see the runway? So the runway becomes its position to its base. There you go. Hoo-ah. Okay? Downline center, XT1000 comes in to track interference, right? And then it lands in position location, right? It's like a helicopter. Okay, there you go. Hoo-ah. Right? But it's surfacing to the atmospheric line. This is a dimensional line interference to its rotation center. All right. Once it goes in its dimensional line center, the archetypes come in and keep the levitation to its high position locations. Right. It keeps it above its system locations, right? So this keeps you in the high mind line center and rotations and stops you from all position to ground line center to its connections. So you can't circle down. You have to stay above the flux capacitor to high position to its line connections. All levels of the ground line center to its connections. Hoo-ah. Okay. You see how powerful that is when you connect to all levels of the mind? So understanding your graphs, your communications, all levels of what trees look like. Yeah, that's a spot system. But this is a hologram of you through rotations. So this is your reality that you see the locations. That's what trees are. So it's a process. We have a lot to learn, a lot to go on through channel. So a lot going on. I'm seeing the energy from the planets traveling set up form energy triangles for planet base. Each planet has a perception computer to me to see each vibration timeline pass. Yep. Very good. Excellent. That's exactly what it is. Now I'm slowing and coming down in steps so I can keep moderating my speed, understand how to slow just as I did speeding up. Very good. Okay, but the visual just comes automatically, not like having a manual. That's exactly what it is. It's automatic. So the mind goes on its own alliance, guys. And that's what it is. You come into all of the rotations to your computers. Your mind does everything. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to create everything. It's getting you more of memory. So the faster you go through fluctuation, the more you understand your practical system, do calculations. Feel Vega watching me again, unless it's general, but I'm pretty sure it's Vega. All communications, all line center positions to my live position location is me, unless I say Vega. Okay. If I say Vega, Vega and me, right? So if it's just me, it's just me. If I say Vega, it's Vega and me. Okay. All right. Started thinking about scuba diving. You have to slow down, hit each control level. Yep. Exactly. Yep. Coming into formation system. Okay, so tomorrow we're going to travel through the center operation position locations as structures of your phase direction of time, communication to its force line, to its activation system, to its locations. That's what's going to happen tomorrow, right? You learn how to all position location, how to travel through wires of all planets. Okay, each planet has its own tone system. You guys are understanding your flux capacitors. So when you're channeling to Highline Center, you have to learn how to travel through direction of time, how to stop positions so you can stop in space and then you can move forward in line center. It's all done through the mind system. What are you telling the mind to do? The body has to understand position, right? It's the physical line that has to understand everything. It has to, because that's the living system that is only on its position location. It's in the ground center. I'm on the grounds, but my mind, my heart, my soul is in space. Right? So that's interesting, right? I'm sitting in a chair, but I'm not here. So where are you in the mind every single day with your weather patterns? Times square, times pi, calculation to your clocking center, to your flux capacitor system. So once you come into your clocking center, this is where it gets really interesting. You understand acceleration to its marking system line conditions. Right? Now, you guys all know what this is. Right? Peace. Right? But what is this? Flux capacitor. So all position locations, right? Inline center, that's left, that's right. Okay. So this is right, this is left. Okay. Right, left. Right. So this all positions to you through calculations to its line system. Now, what is it now? It's a tree formation to its clocking center. See the tree? See the branch? Now you're just missing the base to its line conditions. Come into all channels of all operation system to its location. Comes into all position locations, comes into the center operation of you through calculation. Okay? Your past, your present, and your future. So you stay in the presence of the now line center in the mind capacitor system. Okay? So if you go into the past, the mind goes into the past. You go into the future, the mind goes into the future. You have to learn how to use your flux capacitors in the center point positions of the right and the left hemisphere to its condition. All right? Hoo-ah. All right. So Yeah, everybody's seeing something different. You guys are different channels of operation to different perceptions. You're all going to see something different because your flux capacitors are not the same. What is the same is acceleration to Mach speed, right? What is different is your body. You're all different levels of DNA pathogens. Through calculation, you have to learn how to travel the direction of time position locations, right? So understanding operation, this is my information system, right? Now, I can do it from the outskirt line center, puts me in the ground interference. I can do this and change positions, all right? So when you see this, you can see that what am I doing? I'm changing positions of travel, right? That's what I'm doing. So each button that I'm pressing is a different pixel activation to a center line connections to its particle system to itself. But if I do it the same way in here, it's a different operation, right? This is low division. This is high division because you can't see my hand. So my hand is operating its position in simulation, but I'm still doing the same thing, but you can't see it through rotation, right? That's a true understanding where you guys are different in your perceptions. All right. Same with the 4-planet connections. It looks like when we do this, the planets from X connections, the connections flux capacitor, communication signals connecting with all 4 planets. All at once. All at once, Captain. Okay. Certified for 3 to 4 back in the 20s. Great analogy. Let's see here. Can you help me with the cell position locations, all line centers? In position, you guys have that to your position. It's all through your biological cycle and communication interference. So you guys have to learn how to do that yourself. Okay. I can change your particle lights and change your program setting and bounce interference. I can do that to the line center. So you're okay now, Commander. All right. It's asking me about this type of personal stuff. Okay. Managing your yin and yang. That's exactly what it is. It's the left hemisphere and the right hemisphere of you through traversation of time, all through flux capacitor system. That's all it is. Okay. All right. All right. Everybody's going to go through their own position through acceleration. You have to understand your marking channels, your connections, your pixel activation, your computer alignments. So you're going to keep seeing things differently. This is all done through individual system, but you're working as a team. So when I say team, you're working as a team. If I say individual, you're working as an individual. It's the listening of my voicing command system. All right. So it's all position of you through track interference. So you concentrate just on what? You, nobody else, you. You have to learn how to travel faster and faster through Mach interference position to the mind. The mind has to understand all center operation of what you're doing through planets. Okay. So. And try not to go too fast. If you go too fast, I have to bring you back down because you can overload your circuits. Traveling through the mind is very real, guys. You already know that, right? But now you're traveling faster. And because you have your T-force line center, your test coming up, you have to learn how to travel through flux capacitors. And you have to learn how to balance the measures, the metric line interference. This is all the birth line center position locations of E equals MC squared, guys. Okay, you already know how to do that, right? So I'll give you a review of what needs to be on the test so you get a true understanding how to travel through direction of time. But you have to send your positions or levels of its flux capacitor to its capacitor system, all through the center operation of U to calculation. Okay. All right. Oh, you're welcome, Commander. Yep, you guys will end up, when you guys go to higher fluctuation centers in position, you'll see everybody's perception of what they draw in rotation to what they create in their imagination, right? So when you box center something, it starts here. It's a point system. That's all. As soon as you open up your voice, So what you're doing is you're opening. It's like opening a flower, right? So it starts off with the grounds, right? And then you just, and it expands, right? Same with tone, right? So when you do tone, what do you do? So you're changing tone, vibration tone. This is all done through Schumann resonance, ground line, center, perception, location, T, flux, capacitor. You have to understand your clocking centers, guys. So really, really get into your voice box channels of communication, all right? Box center position locations to its line connection. Let's go into that line center. All right. There it is. There's the graph line center. Location grid. This is a location grid. This is the panel interference positions to all levels of E through sonar. The polarity system, the pulsars, the connections, or anything line connections. True, they send how to travel through it. To its connection. You are in the center operation traveling. This is you traveling in the center, right? So when you change vibration, what do? You change your direction, so you're clocking. So you go, right? You go down, right? Now, what happens if you go off center? You're in space. You're in space. You're always in a tube, always in a traveling in a tube. You can't be floating outside. You can't. Why? That protects you alone from oxygen line center. Speed line center will just whip you in position of dimension to a wormhole and suck you out of location in position. Right? So you got to stay in the track center of vibration. Right? So as long as you stay in your panel, your size graph panel locations to its position, you'll be fine. To its line center, because it has both ends to its location, right? So you go, okay? But at least you're staying in the graph, right? But as soon as you go off, you're off grid, okay? So that's all done through your clocking, okay? Where the sun is, we already been through this, where you are in the center of operation. That's your clocking center at the top. So the sun has to be in position and the moon always has to be in position locations. To you, to your flux capacitor, hooah, okay? So it's all formation of you through graph. Geographical operation system, geographical map position to its location grid. All formation to position locations of string theory, all right? All right. Slide down, speed, travel to 0. I think I'm out. I just started descending until I was slowed to 0. There you go. See, that's what you want. You want to go into high line center, but come into merge, nice and easy. Like come into, you're in the atmospheres of the mind still, but you have to learn how to channel down, right? Slowly, slowly, slowly. You don't want to go too fast because you change the grounds of space. I control my speed, flux through, toning, understand another level and how we get ourselves. Yep, out of being on a line. Yep, that's exactly what it is. And I see the thing is, second bait already knows what the channel line center is. Remember I was just saying, don't go off the grid. Stay in your voicing channel. Stay in the center. As soon as you go off, you're out. You're outer limits. Okay, you're in space now, floating. Then I got to put you back on the line center, the grid. Everybody's got to be on the grid. Everybody's got to be on the grid. As soon as you go off the grid, you're in space. You're floating. Oh. So this is about understanding. You have no protection now. You have to stay in the tube line center. You can even crack the tube if you go too fast through acceleration lines position to the mind through computer rotation. You don't want to do that through the clock line center. Because if you crack your tube, space wins you through high sector line connections, prior sectors. This is your tube line center, all right? Travel direction of time zones, communication interference. Your travel direction of time. This is you traveling, right? That's you traveling. All of a sudden, over here, you have to make sure you check your tubes. Make sure there's no spots, lights, off signal. There's a little hole, right? So what's that going to do? It's going to suck you out, right? So it's going to take you out of the tube. That's why it's important to check every compartment system to all levels of your Merkaba, your tesseracts, your computer line centers, and everything through your tetrahedrons of travel before you travel through direction time positions to the mind of collaboration center to its connection to its flux capacitor. So it's very important to check these things. Spot checks, all positions to all levels of your tunnel. Set positions all levels of you through travel, direction of timeline, right? To its rotation system. So when you're going straight rotations, you can put CM interference to that conditions, right? Change its line center and rotation and fix it through connections. Disappears. Then you can send to any line center, go through any dimensional round line center to position locations. Back on track system, take it out of the equation line center. Security line defense comes into rotation, traveling through the center rotation. Ooh-ah. Okay. So you want to know what it's like living in space? You want to know what it's like being in space? That's what it is. All right. Okay. Let's see. It's just like right out of a movie, eh? All right. Seeing a red line grid, usually I don't see lines in red. That is a smart idea, balance Mars. But you know exactly when the tube breaks, right? Then what are you going to do? You're going to be flushed out. And then you're floating. Because you're coming more in the mind. You understand? You're coming more in the mind now. So you're living in space now, guys. That's what's amazing. So you're actually going into high levels of civility, position locations, and how you have to travel every single day through your tube line center. The tube line center is your positions, and your flux capacitor is its position T reception of channels transmitting and receiving information. Okay? So, yeah, your mind, your body, and your heart and your soul is balanced. That's exactly what it is, right? But the more you high rise to the mind system, the more you understand all levels of you through portals, dimensions, wormholes, orbs, right? So, all right. So, any other questions? Let me know. Okay. Very, very powerful class. So, you guys did a fantastic job. Now you get a better channel line center. Now you got your upgrade C flux capacitor. So now you know how to accelerate up and down through fluctuation. And that puts you in a better positions through your T force line center, which is coming up to its connections. Adios.